French President Emmanuel Macron addressed the issue of Russia's military buildup and the ongoing conflict in Ukraine while attending the Paris Agriculture Show on Saturday. According to Associated Press, speaking to farmers and other attendees, Macron emphasized the need for collective action to contain Russian aggression. "We don't know where it will stop today. So, we have to act to contain it. It's at this cost that we will in a way be more protected, and so it is a collective choice. We must equip ourselves," Macron said. Macron's remarks come ahead of his scheduled meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House. "America is a historic ally. We will say what are our priorities. It's normal that we are defending our security," Macron said. "We wanted to go to try to convince him to go in the right direction, and if not we will take our own measures for our own protection," he added. There are growing concerns among European allies and Ukrainian officials over Trump's recent statements that echo Putin's narrative and plans for direct negotiations with Moscow.
Et vous avez une puissance qui s'est surarmée, qui est en train de continuer de se surarmer, qui est la Russie. Et en fait, on ne sait pas où elle s'arrêtera aujourd'hui. Donc il faut qu'on agisse tous pour la contenir. C'est à ce prix-là, en quelque sorte, qu'on sera protégé. Donc c'est des choix collectifs, et c'est en effet s'équiper. Voilà.
Et vous pensez
Les États-Unis d'Amérique, c'est un allié historique. Maintenant, aujourd'hui, je vois ça se passe. J'ai dit quelles étaient nos priorités. Et nous, c'est normal, on défend notre sécurité. Donc moi, je vais y aller pour dire la sécurité des Français et des Européens, c'est important. Il faut la prendre en compte dans vos choix. Et donc, il faut nous dire où vous voulez aller, essayer de le convaincre d'aller dans des bonnes directions. Et sinon, nous prendre les dispositions, si ce n'était pas le cas, pour qu'on soit protégé.
President Donald Trump's national security advisor said Friday that Ukraine will agree to give the U.S. access to its country's critical rare earth minerals as repayment for U.S. support during the war. According to Associated Press, speaking at the annual Conservative Political Action Conference outside of Washington, D.C., Mike Waltz said, "Here's the bottom line, President Zelensky is going to sign that deal. And you will see that in the very short term. And that is good for Ukraine. What better could you have for Ukraine than to be in an economic partnership with the United States?" Waltz added. The comments come just a day after Waltz told reporters that Trump is frustrated with Zelensky after he rejected the offer presented last week by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent that would have given the U.S. access to Ukrainian minerals as repayment for U.S. wartime support and future aid for Ukraine. Waltz also pushed back against what he called the narrative in the media that the Trump administration is not negotiating or working with its European allies, insisting it is engaging all of our European allies, absolutely. Waltz noted that French President Emmanuel Macron will visit the White House on Monday, followed by British Prime Minister Keir Starmer on Thursday. Waltz called Trump the President of Peace, and predicted he will receive the Nobel Peace Prize for his work to end the wars in Ukraine and the Middle East. "By the end of this all, we're going to have the Nobel Peace Prize sitting next to the name of Donald J. Trump," Waltz said.
Well, let me make one thing clear. We would not be in this position, not even close, if it weren't for the leadership of Donald J. Trump. Period. Right? I had the honor of sitting in the Oval Office and listening to President Trump speak with President Putin of Russia, and hearing both Putin and then immediately Zelensky both say only under President Trump's leadership, say this to him, and only he could drive an end to this war. So under Trump, this war will end, and it will end soon, and he is the president of peace.
How are we going to get Zelensky, President Zelensky, to cooperate?
Yeah. Well, so first, and this is the part that the media just wants to ignore, it was Zelensky last September, as part of his victory plan, it was Zelensky that proposed, hey, let's go into a partnership together.
Right.
If the United States will invest in us, we have aluminum, we have gallium, we have tritium, we have all of these rare earth minerals that the modern economy needs. A lot of them are not fully developed. They need investment. President Trump's a deal maker, and so now President Trump proposes the deal,
right,
and sent our Treasury Secretary all the way out to Kyiv to propose it, and then we get this rhetoric in the media. Look, here's the bottom line. President Zelensky is going to sign that deal. And you will see that in the very short term. And that is good for Ukraine. What better could you have for Ukraine than to be in an economic partnership with the United States, number one? What better could you have for Ukraine to stop the killing, number two? And you know what? We have an obligation to you all, the American taxpayer, to recoup the hundreds of billions of dollars that have been invested in this war. You know, and all, the other narrative you have in the media is, well, we're not consulting with our allies in Europe. President Trump has talked to Macron twice last week. He's coming here Monday. The Prime Minister of Britain is coming here next Thursday. We are engaging all of our European allies, absolutely. The NATO Secretary General and I just spoke. You establish peace through strength. And we have been demanding that the Europeans step up and contribute to their own defense. And as of now, a third of our NATO allies still are not contributing the minimum, which is 2% of their GDP that they committed to a year ago, or I'm sorry, 10 years ago. So that's unacceptable. And if you know what, the Europeans want to take a bigger role in their own security, that falls in line with America First principles as far as I'm concerned, as far as President Trump's concerned. So, you know what? He's kind of rattled their cage a bit. And now they're saying, you know what? Suddenly they found more. And they're coming to the table with more. Fine by us. He's going to end the war in Europe. He is going to end the wars in the Middle East. He is going to reinvest the United States and our leadership in our own hemisphere, from the Arctic to the border to Panama, all the way down to our good friends in Argentina with Milei that you saw yesterday. And you know what? By the end of this all, we're going to have the Nobel Peace Prize sitting next to the name of Donald J. Trump. And who opposes peace? Like, I mean, how do the Democrats oppose peace?
You bring up a great question. How are we going to get Zelensky, President Zelensky, to cooperate?
Yeah. Well, so first, and this is the part that the media just wants to ignore, it was Zelensky last September, as part of his victory plan, it was Zelensky that proposed, hey, let's go into a partnership together.
Right.
If the United States will invest in us, we have aluminum, we have gallium, we have tritium, we have all of these rare earth minerals that the modern economy needs. A lot of them are not fully developed. They need investment. President Trump's a deal maker. And so now President Trump proposes the deal, right, and sent our Treasury Secretary all the way out to Kyiv to propose it, and then we get this rhetoric in the media. Well, look, here's the bottom line.